Hello, everyone. This is Ernie Humphrey, CEO of Treasury Webinars. I'm thrilled to welcome you to our initial general session, Right-Sizing Technology to Deliver Cash Management Success. I have an amazing panel. I have to note one of our panelists had a personal issue and she couldn't make it, so I'm going to try and fill in and offer some of my insights as well for you. So I'm thrilled, first of all, to introduce my esteemed panelists here. We have Leanne Perkins. She's the Assistant Treasurer at Ancura. I've been following her for a long time. She's my shining example of how to build your brand and have professional impact with your brand. But I also noticed that she happens to be an amazing expert in all things AI, and she's tapped into that across the world. So welcome, Leanne. Why don't you give us a little bit about your background before we dive in?
Thank you so much. It's definitely my pleasure to be here. And I can tell by our initial discussion, this is going to be a fun one. We're a good group. So thanks for having me. I've been in Treasury for about 20 years, and I love all things technology and future-proofing your company. And that's why this topic for me is so exciting. I, as Ernie said, work at Ancura. I'm the Assistant Treasurer, and we are a global expert services firm. We're headquartered in the US, and we operate in about 50 countries around the world. We have thousands of employees who are SMEs dedicated to servicing our customers by really providing expert services in a number of different ways. And one of our competitive advantages is the services we offer have an AI solution. So therefore, it makes this job really great for me. And I feel very lucky to work in an area that's embracing technology, embracing AI. And I really look forward to sharing my knowledge. Treasury is definitely my happy place. I am a huge advocate for the industry, which is why you'll see me talking wherever I can and whenever I've given the opportunity to uplift the treasurer and the function globally. And I really appreciate being here, and hopefully this is a great day for all treasurers in the making.
All right. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to welcome my friend Paula Schulmeister to the event as well. Paula has been a long time attendee of mine on all my webinars, had some great conversations with her, got to spend some time with her at the AFP conference in Nashville. She's a director of Treasury at Uber Freight. We had some interesting conversations around technology and other things related to Treasury. So welcome, Paula. Why don't you give us a little bit about your background before we dive in here?
Sure. I as well has been in Treasury for 20 years. There was some times in my career where I did go out into other departments, and I always seemed to wind back in Treasury. Love Treasury, love everything about Treasury. I even love teaching Treasury. So when I have newcomers come onto my team, love just grabbing them, molding them, and shaping them. It's fabulous. Like Ernie said, I'm the director of Treasury at Uber Freight and been there now 2 years. I'm in Frisco, Texas, originally in Chicago, where I did work at Follett Corporation and Ingredion Corporation up in Chicago. So again, really excited about talking about AI, everything technology, because it really is an important topic in the Treasury world.
Thank you very much, Paula. So again, I'm going to add my insights here.
Okay.
As we go through our session today. So first of all, I'd like to get your reaction. I'll start with you, Leanne, just to set the stage. Leveraging AI should be the top priority for Treasury teams in 2025. What's your reaction to that statement? What are your thoughts there?
I love that that is actually a statement, not a question. I
Right.
think it's really going to be an exciting upcoming year. And I definitely agree and wholeheartedly believe that treasurers should be thinking of how to use leverage and how to leverage AI in their treasury teams. There is so much potential with AI. You know, we all know how it can enhance efficiencies, it can mitigate risk, and it can drive innovation in our treasury departments. It has the capability to also, do those routine tasks, to automate them, to free up valuable time for treasurers, so we can really focus on more strategic projects and maturing our function. However, I've been thinking lately about what the more important reason for using and leveraging AI in departments. And for me, it's, great we have all these automation and efficiency projects, but to me, it's also being able to bring newcomers into the function of Treasury. It is such an exciting field, and the three of us know that. We live and breathe this every day, and we're all already doing such a lot of great work in Treasury. I think during COVID was a time when companies really started to see the importance of the Treasury Department. But as we begin to integrate these technologies into our Treasury departments, I think it's going to bring in more talent. It's going to bring in those who have an interest in learning about Treasury, but they're also excited about the integration and the use cases that Treasury has. And there's so many use cases. We'll talk, I'm sure, more about that later, but we have, the ability to have more accurate and timely data. And this real-time data can help us with forecasting, with adapting swiftly to changes in our departments and in our companies as well. Also, one of the main responsibilities of a Treasury department is to safeguard the financial assets of the company. And AI-driven tools can help us to enhance fraud detection and compliance monitoring, and hopefully, protect us against financial crimes and any regulatory penalties that come up there. And as I think, we need to think about this transformative impact of AI, and it's going to become clear that prioritizing this integration into the Treasury function is a way to help us stay competitive and achieve sustainable growth, both for our companies and for our own teams, like Paula mentioned earlier, and upskilling ourselves in our functions as well.
All right. Thank you, Leanne. So Paula, Leanne, that was a commercial for AI and the love of AI. So that was great. Paula, what's your view? Are you really aligned on the all AI, or do you have a little bit more of a, a little more, balance on the soft skills, or what are your thoughts on AI and Treasury as being that top priority coming here for you?
Yeah. You know what? I did almost exactly what Leanne just said. There's so many things that we can learn from AI, and they are very important. So many companies still to this day are very much manual. Everything is on an Excel spreadsheet, cutting and pasting in wrong cells, overwriting or deleting formulas, not even saving the spreadsheet, or the spreadsheet gets deleted or an associate moves it, nobody can find it. Processes with AI are so much more streamlined, and you can even save work hours. So again, in some cases, data is pulled with a click of a button instead of all this manual input. And with regards to what I mentioned at first, all these manual errors that an Excel spreadsheet brings on is, instead of spending time fixing errors or finding the spreadsheet or what happened or this formula isn't adding up, where did the formula even go? Now we have, like Leanne said, now we have the talent that can actually analyze the data instead of trying to always fix Excel spreadsheet errors. As she said, this gains so many skills and talents. So are someone like my age, or whether you just graduated from college and may want to give Treasury a try, how more valuable is it going to be that instead of, wasting your time cutting and pasting, you are now analyzing data, you're identifying patterns, and also you can even improve your skills when it comes to making projections. Who wouldn't want that, honestly?
Thanks, Paula and Leanne. So Ernie has a little bit of an alternative view, like I always do. Paula just called me unorthodox before we even started, so that might be not the only time today. But I love AI. My concern, which happened to me, was I was overwhelmed with AI and it totally consumed me. So I kind of lost my focus a little bit and just have to think, okay, AI is great. It's great for certain things, but I can't lose the focus on my soft skills, because Treasury is about communicating with impact and collaboration. And one of the things, especially what Paula just mentioned, which I think is lost a little bit when we talk about AI, is AI, the first level in my mind of value is it mitigates our time spent on non-value add activities. Now, we can spend time on more strategic activities where we might get into generative AI and things of that nature. So I always caution people, right size that for you. I tell people it's nice if you know how to program in Python, but no one wants to see me do that. So one of the things that I've seen with you, Leanne, is you've done a great job of educating yourself about AI and the role AI has in Treasury. Can you share with us maybe some resources that you've used or some places where people can go, maybe a person or two you follow to look to stay on top of your game, even though you're out in front of the game for the most part?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very curious person. I want to learn about everything. I feel like whatever is out there that is new, I would like to learn about it. So I'm a constant learner. I sound like a little bit of a dork, but I just love to learn. And I jumped on the Treasury bandwagon 20 years ago, and I realized if I was going to keep up and I was going to reach the pinnacle of my career one day, I would need to continue to learn. So I've had that mindset since I started Treasury. And with AI, I just found it really interesting when it first came out. A little scary, I'll be honest, because I didn't understand anything about it. And the only example I could physically understand at the time was either robots that I had seen in movies or just kind of end of the world sci-fi type of stuff. And I decided that I was either going to be scared of it and not keep up, or I was going to figure out how to learn about it. And I started reading a lot of articles and a lot of books on AI. One of my favorite being HBR, because I think the Harvard Business Review, I think they have experts in the area to explain it in layman's terms. And then I also attended as many webinars and events that I could. And a lot of our banks were starting to talk about it and just, gave advice. And then when I started to get kind of a good foundation of understanding AI, I worked on a game plan that I was going to figure out how I could use AI to work for me, not only in Treasury in where I was working, but in the function as a whole. And I feel very fortunate because just before COVID, I was exposed to a vendor who had a forecasting solution with really game-changing AI built into their solution. And I could not believe what I was seeing. And once I used the solution and saw how much benefit it brought to us in the Treasury field, it solidified my decision that I really needed to learn more because the benefits are there. And then this year, I also enrolled in a course with the ACT, the Association of Corporate Treasurers in the UK. And I had gotten my fellowship and Treasury license from the organization over COVID. And this year they were hosting a certification on practical AI for Treasury. So of course that was of great interest to me. And I did the course, I learned so much. And I also then networked with some of the professors of the course and those who were teaching to learn and understand more about, how they're using AI in Treasury and what more, we should be learning as time goes on. And then through that association and doing the course, I met a fellow treasurer and we spoke at Eurofinance Copenhagen on practical AI in Treasury. And it was so much fun and we learned so much from each other. There were 3 of us on the panel. We learned from each other. We, figured out how to make AI work for us and how we could teach that to others. And then we also learned so much on the legal side of AI from the Eurofinance course. And it's obviously very different, the law in Europe as it is to the US, but it also brings up, the ethical concerns that we do have to look at with AI. It's not just a cool tool that we can all just use and move on, but there's definitely areas where we have to figure out what this means for us, for our companies, how we can use the data, and just be educated in this area because it's an ever-changing field. This is going to be something that we live with years to come on, and I think it's just a great topic to learn from and to learn about. And there's many people and many areas you can learn about AI from your banks, your vendors, books. I like to read any book on AI that I get given, and one of our banks gave us a book on the battle of the new world about AI. So just so many resources, just look out for it and be curious on the subject.
Yeah, thank you so much. One of the things that really stuck out to me, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to be speaking on a little bit later about the role of AI, myths and realities, is that what you really said really resonated with me. We need to you're figuring out how to use AI. So don't let AI drive what we do. Let's figure out how to use AI to transform our value proposition in the profession itself instead of it being coming at us and being kind of forced on us. So, Paul, let me ask you a little bit different question. And you were at the AFP conference in Nashville. What kind of conversations might you have had around AI? Where people had the same view? Were they more cautious? Just a few things conversations or sessions and things you may have learned on AI at AFP in Nashville.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, I wanted it to be a goal of mine to at least talk to 3 to 4 leaders of companies who did implement AI. And some of the questions I asked them was, why did you choose to implement it? Give me some reasons. Like, did you come to a breaking point, or did you say, you know what, we're done, we need to do this? How did they choose the company that they went with, or the products that they went with? Like, what made them decide, you know what, I like this one, I didn't like that one? What did they do to come up with that final tally? And why did they choose certain modules over others? Like, why did you choose this module, but then you didn't choose this one? Did you feel it wasn't adding value to your company or your department, but this one did? And the one question that I asked all of them, and with anything, not just with this, but with anything where I want to get people's opinions on, is what would you have done differently? Or do you have any regrets? Is there something that if I could have started it over, this is what I would have done? Or Paula, you're going to go down this path. Don't. Make sure you go down this way, or you might get swayed into going this way. Here's why this might be a bear trap. So definitely, I always like to talk to leaders who have basically already took the torch before me and learned from them.
Well, can you share did anyone step in any bear traps? Can you share just one maybe thing that someone gave some on, not who the provider was, but where they kind of got a little bit out over their skis in any areas?
As a matter of fact, one leader did tell me that they had a very persuasive salesperson who made them purchase modules where at the end of the day, yes, they added some value, but not so much of the value that the salesperson provided to them. So they think well, now I just revealed the gender, but he said that he definitely would have done more research instead of just only listening to the salesperson of that product.
Okay, so let's look. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it happens.
Yeah. So let's level set here a minute. And I'll give you first take at a question, Paula. I know it's hard to go second, so I just have a question for Leanne. So in what area do you think AI is currently having the biggest impact? Which area of operation do you think we're already seeing most use and the biggest impact right now? Leanne, what are your thoughts on 1 or 2 areas?
What I'm seeing right now is AI is having the biggest impact in the area of cash flow forecasting. And I believe that's true because, AI inherently has the ability to analyze large volumes of data. And with real-time data, it allows you to generate more accurate and timely forecasts. And I think vendors are being able to embed that into their systems and all go after something that they know is working and is, I don't know, Paul, if you agree, but one of the biggest pain points of working in Treasury is cash flow forecasting and having the right data at the right time and having reliable information. And I think that's one of the areas that it is getting traction, and many vendors are using it in their tools.
Okay, let me ask a follow-up question. What area would you like, just your perspective, what area would you like to see AI get more attention or more functionality that you think would have a big impact that you haven't seen just yet?
Risk management. I really feel like that's going to be the next area that has the biggest impact for us for FX, for any credit risk rating. I think that any risk that we are managing in Treasury, if you can get the data and you can get it reliably, then AI can be a great use in this area. And I also think for credit agreements that we all work with, there's just so many areas to automate and to create efficiencies in getting the data out of the credit agreements that we use in Treasury, instead of us having to read those delightful 900-page documents.
Yeah.
So those are the two
Well,
areas I want.
Okay, perfect. And I did not set this up. This was a question I hadn't teed up. So what we'll see in our demos today, I'll give you a preview. Esker actually has a module that helps, it pulls in data from the credit bureaus, and there's some automation there, and you can pull in that third party data and helps you manage that. And our friends at Treasury Cube as well, they have some neat functionality I previewed, where you can get a sense of that counterparty risk. So you can slice and dice and immediately see. So that's what I see myself as not getting enough attention. So, we're profitable, but what are we doing to manage our counterparty risk by currency, by country, all these different things? How do we get a snapshot of that? And if we don't have purview over AR, how do we make sure that AR and sales are in line with our policies? So, Paula, are there any other areas in AI that you think are getting some impact here? And then where would you like to see some more focus in AI and Treasury?
Yeah, the biggest impact is fraud, definitely.
Yeah.
Verification of accounts even before payments go out is really it's detrimental to a company, because again, you can have your AP associate get a nation changed. You call, sometimes you even call a different number. Yep, that's good. And then you just paid a fraudster. So absolutely, I know that's one of the things that I look forward to, is how does AI reduce fraud? Because it's happening every single minute of the day.
Okay. Any area where you'd like to see a little bit more focus, or you're waiting patiently to see that would really impact your job and what you do?
Exactly what Leanne said, cash forecasting. Cash forecasting is so difficult for all those in Treasury. It's so hard to pinpoint. It's so hard to get right data from your sales team, from your AR team, from your accounts payable team. Having AI, if it keeps growing and expanding and learning, have it then learn market trends, sales data, seasonality, which would be fabulous, which then companies can better prepare for cash shortages or cash surpluses, and also make better financial decisions with having more constructive budgets to fund value-added projects. So for me, 100% cash forecasting.
Leanne, do you have something you want to add on that?
No, I absolutely love the way you said that, Paul. I wanted to applaud you. That's brilliant. Agree with that. And back to your point on fraud, I have seen many companies and banks and vendors with great fraud monitoring solutions using AI. And I'm very grateful, as you are, that we have this technology to help us, because it honestly is one of the most difficult parts of the payments industry, is ensuring we know who we're paying and it's the right person for the right amount. And it's a great start with using AI in your departments.
Okay, great. So my next question, I'm gonna give Paula the first swing here. So what's your view? What is the role collaboration within and beyond Treasury play in leveraging technology, right? How does technology impact that? How would you like to see it do that? How important is technology in facilitating collaboration?
Yeah. Absolutely. We need to collaborate with other departments and other departments in Treasury. One thing people might not know about Treasury is I truly believe we are one of the few departments that touch everybody. So we really need to build that collaboration, that mutual respect and trust. And when it comes to AI, and let's just say now you're in the market and you want to purchase some AI products, one of the things that you need to do is you need to find out from the other departments their needs and wants. Make sure everyone is on the same page. What is their mission? What are their expectations of this AI product? Encourage feedback is another thing, and make sure the relationship between your department and this other department really are comfortable being transparent. We need to know, did something go wrong? Is something not working the way you thought? Is the data not being presented in the way that they planned it? Is the data not as valuable as they once thought? So having that, again, that relationship, that trust, what does everybody want? What are your expectations of the product? And again, just all coming together on the same page, so then there are no surprises and everyone really is satisfied at the end of the day.
Okay, thanks, Leon. I'd love to get your thoughts here as well.
And I agree with Paula. Treasury is that department that is both interfacing, meaning we deal with and work with many departments in the company, from AR, AP, audit, legal, accounting, management. We're just interfacing with everyone, but we're also front facing, and we do sometimes speak to our customers, but we're also speaking to our banks and to our rating agencies and our regulators. And therefore you have to have, as Paula said earlier, the ability to communicate effectively, take high level topics and put them in a way that people can understand them, and ensure that what you're communicating with to all of your audience and your stakeholders is both useful and understandable for the entire company. We are just one section of the company, but we're not siloed. We are very interdependent in Treasury. I also think that in the evolving world of AI, that the soft skills that you have today are still needed and still have to be worked on. Communication is one of them. Being adaptable, being able to ensure that any project you put in is a project that requires good change management. And all of that comes with teamwork, with collaboration, with understanding each other's needs, knowing what you're trying to get to, and helping each other to meet the goal of the company, but also what your project is trying to accomplish. And it's a very different world with AI, but it also has those same underlying foundational needs of soft skills when you're implementing new technologies or any technology into the company.
Great. Thanks for your thoughts. So a couple of things I'm going to zone in on here. One of the things that you mentioned was, Treasury is not working in silos. And my comment is, I wish we weren't working in silos. So let's focus on cash management silos. I've done some research. I've asked Treasury professionals. I did a survey to talk about later in general session. Over 250 companies, only U.S. focused, but are there silos between AP team and Treasury? What's the percentage of admit there's silos? 40%. What about AR and Treasury? 30%. What about, so I've identified all these different silos. So all these silos exist. And then when you ask them what the reason is, there's no reason. It's cultural. And then we see a difference in information. I call information asymmetry the nemesis of Treasury success. And as you mentioned, Leanne, in dealing with your customers, right, and your suppliers, that asymmetry of information causes issues in our cash management success. So just talking about technology, I think I've seen, like on the AP side, as an approver, I've seen invoices come to life. You can go in there and communicate, and then as customers as well, you can track, right? So just want to pick your brains a little bit about if you see silos. I can tell you, when I go to AP conferences, they're afraid to talk to Treasury. When I go to AR conferences, they don't know how to talk to Treasury. So those soft skills matter. So if I say to Paula, AP and Treasury silos are pervasive in companies, what are your thoughts on that? Agree, disagree? And then what do you think we can do to help mitigate those?
So I think they do work hand in hand. Now, some of the
Should, yeah.
processes might be siloed. I totally agree with that, but I need to know an example. I need to know like how much of payments are going out today. So I know, do I need to borrow? Will I have surplus so I can invest? So I think in those instances, we do work together, but will I ever show my AP manager my cash forecasting and how we did not get the payments or how we did not have the payments as she thought we would, or anything like that? Of course I would. So I know I'm one of those where I don't think we're sideload, Ernie. I think we work hand in hand a lot with other departments because we need the information. So again, I think I might be an anomaly here, but I don't think we're siloed. I think we are so reliant on other departments just to make our kind of department be a well-oiled machine, where I don't think we're siloed.
Yeah, just part of where I saw a lot of, I would say, silos is when I ask companies, are you making data-driven decisions about the types of payments that you make and the timing of payments? So I don't see a lot of collaboration there, and I see a lot of low-hanging fruit. When I was in Treasury, we didn't have that collaboration. We had a check run 2 times a week. We had a wire run. So I wasn't managing that, and there's a lot of low-hanging fruit on that side of it. So that's just a little context. Leanne, what do you think about silos and cash management? Do you see that? And if so, what? What do you think about it?
I used to see that in the earlier and more formative years of my Treasury career. But I think what it takes is a very strong Treasury leader, because as I said earlier, Treasury is one of those newer functions to the finance field where if you ask 10 people what Treasury does, probably half of a person would know what Treasury actually does and what our benefit is to a company. And I think it was during COVID where we actually were able to showcase our skills and our abilities to help companies through difficult times. And we started to get traction after that. And it's very much inviting people into what Treasury does and showing that not only do we need them, but they need us. Whenever there's a request for, did a payment come in or a payment go out, or we may have had fraud, or lots of types of questions that come at Treasury where people need our information. And it's about collaboration, all working towards the same goal and helping each other. And what I've done in the past to make teams more cohesive, particularly with AP and Treasury, is to have, a set of meetings. We had a few 2-hour sessions with a moderator, and you work on a RACI chart where everyone knows their roles and responsibilities in their particular area. Nobody crosses over their swim lane, but we all understand the impact and the information that we have to give to each other to make sure Treasury functions well and AP or any other department alongside us functions well. And it's ensuring that everybody has the information they need. Everybody's trying to mature their own departments. And if we work together, we can make it happen. And with the advent of technology and AI in the systems we're using, it becomes more important to make sure that we all are using the same source data and we're all able to help each other with the information, put systems in that are collaborative and useful for every department. Don't silo them right from the technology point, because we have way too many great systems out there that don't need to be AP or Treasury specific. They can be integrated to help the company with the needs of the finance department. So I think we're making great strides, but it definitely takes advocacy from the Treasury department, which is, I feel like my calling in life is to advocate for the Treasury department and function. But it also takes just seeing the importance of working together and providing each other the information we need. Another thing I also do just quickly is invite our banks into the solution to give us on a quarterly basis an update on helping us with fraud, on the newest fraud issues they're seeing from their perspective as bankers, and using their experts to come and train us. And we invite Treasury, AP, AR, anyone from the company is invited, but we try to make sure the finance team at least attend. And that way we're all getting information on issues that impact our departments, the company as a whole, and even us personally in our lives, how we can make sure we can protect ourselves against evolving fraud.
Great. So as we're going to start to wrap things up, I got a few questions to ask you guys, and then I'll let you guys share your final thoughts. So after our session is complete today, folks are going to be watching some cash management tech demos. Paula, I'll ask you first. When you're watching a demo, what is your mindset, and what are some of the questions you're looking to have answered when you're experiencing a demo yourself?
So one of the questions is how is this going to add value to my team, my company? That is definitely key. You're going to be seeing a lot of different modules. And as I mentioned before, with that one gentleman who told me, make sure as you really visualize these modules, what makes sense to implement and which don't. Don't get that salesperson who thinks you should get everything under the sun when you really might not need it. So really pay attention there. As they're showing me their demo, how can I see data differently? Can I see data differently? Does your product allow me to see data differently? Can I see more robust data? Can I see more granular data than what you're presenting? And last but not least, can I trust the data? So what kind of fail safes do you have, and security measures around the data too? Very important.
Okay, great. Leanne, what are your thoughts, and what are your mindsets? And you've obviously spent a lot of time invested. What are some of the things that you really look for?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm a very curious person, so I like to see new technologies. I like to understand how they work. So for me, my questions are, how does this work in a practical manner? And how is it going to benefit me? Very similar to what Paula just mentioned. And then how reliable is the information that I'm going to get? How scalable is it? Is this going to be something that will grow with me in my company, or am I going to have to keep changing modules or providers, every few years? And then how practical is this in both the Treasury area, our collaborative areas, or even my industry? Is this solution going to help me find a solution for the industry I work in? And then I also just like to ask, what differentiates their product in the market? Because there are so many new and exciting technological advancements and vendors. And what sets you apart? Why should I come to you as opposed to someone else doing the same thing?
Great. So we'll see when the demo sessions are coming. Conversations I've had with all of them, my advice was, what's your value proposition? 2, 3 things. You don't have to go through all the details of it. What do you do? Why do you win? What's your value? And that's what we are going to see. So let's go ahead and put a fine point on things. So Leanne, I'll let you go first. Final thoughts you'd like to share with the attendees about right-sizing technology in Treasury?
I think it's all about understanding what you're trying to get to. What is the value proposition, as we've spoken about earlier? What are the potential benefits for me in the future? Even if I don't need this technology right now, I need to have a long-term mindset of practical and sustainable use cases that'll help the Treasury Department and the company. And also for the participants of this webinar during the day, the cash seminar, resolve to spend time on the technology that you might be interested in after the event. That's when you can ask more questions, you can have longer demos, and you can explore more of the solutions and benefits that they have invested their time and efforts into.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Paul, any final thoughts for our attendees today?
Yeah, almost identical to what Leanne said. Perfect way to wrap that up, Leanne. One other thing that I do give advice to those watching: be old school when you are watching these demos. And what I mean by that is no phones, no multitasking. If you're in a conference room, with your team, with other members of your organization, no laptops. Just make sure you are giving each demonstration your undivided attention. Take notes, maybe ask your team or the people who are with you, write a pros and cons list, whatever you need so you can be focused to make clear, logical decisions. Definitely key.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Leanne. Thank you, Paula, for your amazing insights and most of all, making time for us. I know you both are very busy, so we sincerely appreciate your time. To everyone attending the session, this is a great way to kick off the conference. Next, you'll be seeing some amazing demo sessions. So make the most, as Paula said, make the most of your experience during the day. This is your time. So what you get out of it is what you put into it. Thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the conference today.